Money, lots of women, lots of promises.
I had the promises, but I didn't have none of the rest.
Well, what was for me is I started out in 2003, 16-year-old boy, and I was detailing cars.
Mhm.
And I got to detail cars, and I started finding the liking for all the money. I found I was pretty good at cleaning cars. So I bought my own little pressure washer and some products, and I would go to the neighborhood and wash people's cars and make some money. Well, I guess one of the managers that knew my dad had kind of seen that over the 2 year period I was his detailer.
Yeah.
Well, when I turned 18, he come up to me and he said, "Brandon, you want to sell cars?" I'll never forget that was Reed Hamilton. I said, "Well, heck yeah, Reed, who wouldn't? Y'all drive these nice convertibles, y'all talk with these beautiful women, wear you flashy jewelry. I want to be like that too." I had no idea what I was asking for. Tell you a funny story. He said, "Well, look, the owner wants to talk to you. Just make sure you're good fit." He said, "Tomorrow morning, wear your Sunday best." Now, at this point in time, I was no preacher man or nothing else. I was just a boy. And so I put me on some nice blue jeans and a t-shirt.
I was wearing these jeans for my first interview in the car business.
And so I walked in and I talked to the guy's name was Alan Brown. And he talked like there right here. He called me begging. He said, "Begging, what you reckon you gonna do selling them cars?" And I said, "Well, Mr. Brown, I'll treat the customer with respect. I'll make sure to take care of everything. If I promise them something, I'll let the managers know, or whatever y'all, however y'all train me, I'll do what y'all train me to do. All I want is opportunity." And he smiled and he said, "Big, and I always liked you a little bit. Hey, but I got one question for you. Is them the best damn clothes you got?" I said, "Well, Mr. Brown," I said, "Reed told me where was some of the best." He said, "Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna do you a favor." He said, "You got some khakis at the house?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Wear you a pair of khakis and a polo tomorrow, and we'll start you." I said, "Okay." So I come to work the next day, and I looked like, I didn't know how to iron nothing back then. I didn't know how to take care of nothing. New khakis, man, they were so tight. They, they were really like my graduation pants. And I had already kind of out, put a little weight on after graduation. And anyhow, Reed come up to me. He said, "Son, you got the job." He said, "But you look like trash." He said, "Nobody wants to deal with a poor person." So he gave me his credit card. He said, "Let's go to Walmart. Get you three nice pair of pants. Get you a black, a gray, and a khaki." He said, "And I want you to get you three shirts. Get you a white one, a black one, and a blue one. And get you a brown and a black belt." He said, "You got some shoes?" I said, "Not really." He said, "Get you a brown pair and a black pair of shoes." Granted, he's known me since I was knee high to a grasshopper, but he was taking a chance on me.
Yeah.
Well, I went and bought what he told me to, took him his receipts. Next day, I sold the first car. A Suzuki XL7.
Mm.
And
was it the Suzuki dealership?
Yeah, yeah. So we were a three-phase franchise. That's a mouthful. We had Suzuki, Mitsubishi, and Chevrolet. But you couldn't be who I was selling Chevrolet. I had to earn my way to being Mr. Chevy.
Yeah.
So I sold Suzuki.
But you did earn that name
Yeah.
after a while.
And actually, Chevrolet, the company years ago, now I don't know if they still do this now because I've been gone from the company, the franchise world for 9 years now, or excuse me, 8 years going on 9. And there was a war for Mr. Chevy sales and Mr. Chevy finance. I was blessed to win 2 years being road Mr. Chevy sales. I just sold the most new cars in my area over a year's time. And then the third year, I had got bumped to finance. And even though I was still selling a few cars on the side, once you take the finance title, that's all you can take because it's just a step above sales in their world.
Yeah.
And so I financed the most new cars in our region that year. So I was actually Mr. Chevy Award winner 3 times for our area. And matter of fact, I still got the emails to prove it.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they give you a plaque or anything?
Yeah, they give you a little yearly plaque. But the biggest thing was for winning Salesman of the Year for Mr. Chevy was $1,000 cash bonus, and they gave you $5,000 GM points if you had a GM card. Okay. And that's dollar for dollar. So that was like having $5,000 cash that I could spend in GM. And so I won that back to back. And then when you do financing, it was a little bit different. They gave you more cash incentive. It was about $3,500. But with GM, with them, we went on vacation on the finance level. So they wanted me to go to Jamaica, but I'm like, I'm not getting on the boat. So they actually ended up giving me a 5-day vacation, paid for and everything to Myrtle Beach. And I was
Of all places.
I was like, yeah, well, back then
It wasn't
I'm
that
sure.
bad back then.
Yeah, no, it
It's
wasn't.
not that bad now. You just hear about the bad.
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, you just hear about stuff and you're like, I can't believe that's the same place I grew up in. I mean, we were driving through Union the other day. You were showing me some of the places. Would you would have ever thought Union would be like it is now, growing up?
No, it's actually part of why I got out when I did. I just seen it taking a bad spiral. Not that Union's a bad place. I still go through there. It's just not for me anymore. I think I'm doing pretty good where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, how old were you? Well, not how old were you, but how many years have you been out of Union as far as not living there anymore?
2017, Thanksgiving night was my first night in my current house.
Okay. So let me ask you this: and I ask myself this a lot of times, and I guess it comes back to relevant. We're Newberry people now. I'm not from around here. I moved here in 2018 from Dillon, which is halfway across the state.
So I actually moved here before you did.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So I had a family here for 30 years, but I never tapped in and reached out or anything because they would always travel home to see grandma and stuff like that. And then eventually one day we had the conversation like, aren't you sick of working 14 to 16 hours a day at Chevrolet store? Well, yeah, I really am. And they said, well, look, won't you come run our car lot so we can focus more on houses? And then the next thing I know, we're doing everything. I mean,
and you're doing everything.
Yeah. So and I'm glad to have you now because you help out so much, and I love the fact that you jumped right in with the house business. For me, it's cars. It's always been my passion.
Yeah.
You got some people that love cars and just love the car itself. They're an enthusiast. My thing was I was trained early on. I had some really good influencers in my life, and the old motto, treat people how you want to be treated, really stuck home to me.
Yeah.
I got 4 daughters, so if something ever happened to me, I hope and pray that the good that I've done, they will be recipient of that as well. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I hope they will never have to go to a car lot and be taking advantage of somebody because it's so easy.
Hopefully they'll know
how to buy their own car.
Yeah, and know the tricks that some dealerships can pull on.
Yeah, and that's a scary thing too.
That's why when you called me that day, not like I've told you before, I was on my way to pick up a car for the dealership I work. You called, hey man, what's up? When you coming down here? I was like, what are you talking about? He said, I don't remember how you phrased it. You said something about Mitch, the owner here, wanting me to come down and interview. I said, I'll be there tomorrow. Because it's not that where I was at was a bad place, but I can see a turn and it can go either way from where it's at. I hope it don't take that wrong path.
Right.
I wish them all the best, but I didn't want to be there to find out which way it went. So when you called, it was a gift. Because I'd already decided I was going to go buy me a 3500 and start hot shotting cars around.
That'd be. I mean, there's good money in there, but that's a rough way of life too on the road.
Yeah.
But as far as family men like us, we do anything. Mm-hmm. I've been blessed to have a desk job for the last 13, 14 years of my career. Haven't had to pound a pavement, which I've got a good relationship with customers. But if I had to, I'd go cut down trees and rake yards and cut grass again if I had to.
My 1 year anniversary in the car business was just the other day.
Wow. Yeah. That was kind of surreal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it hit me and I was like, man, I still ain't made no money.
Well, and a lot of people just automatically assume that this is a money-making business. Yeah. And it can be, but there's a difference when you have a certain amount of integrity. Mm-hmm. I'd rather sell 20 people a month a car, or 40 or 50, however many we can touch, and build a relationship with them and make minimal money enough to pay our bills and hopefully grow the business, than ruin relationships, burn bridges where they never come back again. and we made thousands. You know, it's
At
just
some
not one.
point they run out.
Right, exactly. They run out. But my motto has always been, I don't want people to think about the competition. I don't want to think about the name of the business. You know, we're affordable auto sales. When they sit down at the table, I don't want them to sit there and say, I wonder what affordable got. I want them to think, hey, let's call Brandon. Let's see what Brandon can help us with. You know,
And that's how it got with me. Because, what have I bought? 5 cars here before?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And a garage, carport, whatever.
What about a house? But the Whitmire got some
Man.
tight streets. If they could helicopter it in for you, we could have got you the new house.
I tell you, that one we got over on the side, that 3-bedroom Fleetwood. If it was a 5-bedroom and I had a helicopter, I'd drop it right on my property. I love that
Yeah, I feel your pain on that.
one.
But you know, I can't believe how much townships have not adjusted over the last 30, 40 years. And I understand they want good, clean streets, tight streets, stuff like that. But at the same time, cars are getting bigger, families are getting bigger, houses are getting bigger. And one thing about it, God's not making any more land. We have very limited space, and I cannot believe that some of the municipalities and the local counties haven't done better jobs looking and seeing this growth. Like Newberry's a growing town. It's been growing ever since before COVID, and I really believe COVID made it worse as far as the impact of growth.
Yeah.
We look at the lake area, we look at the surrounding rural areas. I mean, it's phenomenal growth, but what lacks is the infrastructure to support that.
Yeah.
You know, I saw that at the beach a couple of years ago. Not just isolated Myrtle Beach. I'm talking about the whole from the tippy top of the state to the bottom and in Beaufort.
Yep.
That whole area, the whole Grand Strand area, has grown, and they don't have the water systems or the electrical systems to support such growth. You know.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with growth, but we got to be aware of it and be able to support
Gotta be,
it.
yeah,
You know?
gotta be able to take care of it as it goes.
I look at Whitmire as one of those in between towns. It links to major counties, you know, Union and Newberry.
It's got Lawrence on the other side too.
Right. Oh,
So you
yeah.
got 3
Yeah, it actually connects 3.
Yeah.
Why is that not like a trifecta area of just booming population? Like, why is there not major business in Whitmire? Is it the people in politics making bad decisions? Or is there not something there that big companies want?
Well, I'm not exactly sure how everything went on, before I came. But I can't remember what the water bills used to be. I wasn't there. Since I've moved there was a place called Renfro,
Mm-hmm.
and they used a lot of water in the company. So they left, water bills started going up for the community.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got this boat company to come in. From my understanding, I could be wrong, I was told that the company said they were going to use a lot of water, which would have brought our water bills back down. It didn't. I don't know what they do, how they do it. I ain't never been in there. Don't know the layout or nothing. But then they got to talking about destroying the golf course we got to try to put a business over there, because you got, was it Enoree River that runs right through there?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't heard nothing about that no more. Hopefully they're not going to do anything to the golf course. I actually picked up a little bit of golfing. Me and a buddy of mine went up there the other week. Clubs are out in the car now. But
that's the interesting
if
thing.
they could get somebody to come in, like if the business has to run water anyway,
Mm-hmm.
to stay sufficient, get somebody to come in somehow. I mean, I don't know the politics of it, nothing like that.
Right.
But if they could get somebody in there, get them water bills back down, I think they're having some trash truck issues, from my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe get some money, replace it or something. I think little Whitmire start turning around again.
Yeah, I would say so, because it's prime real estate. When we go through there, now the intersection there at the little water thing that's in the corner. What is that? Is that 176 and 72? Is that what the 2 roads are that meet there?
So 176 actually, that road we took to go to Union.
Yeah.
Okay. When you pass that big church on the right,
Mhm.
it forks in.
Yeah.
That's 176 and 72 meeting.
Okay. So you got 3 roads right there, because 121 from Newberry runs up to there, right?
Once you cross on up
Mhm.
and get up, more closer to my house, where that water treatment place is,
Mhm.
when you go right, it's called Union Street, I think.
Mhm.
But once you get up to that caution light, that's 72 again.
Okay.
And then 176 stays to the left, hits 121, or turns into 121. And then once you get past the rifle range, 176 stays to the left,
And
121.
back shots you to Pomeria and the backside Prosperity and all that. But, and those are all 3 major highways, state roads, correct?
Yeah.
So,
We ain't even got a grocery store no more.
well, and that's why couldn't figure out, which I understood the mathematical equation behind the person that owned it, sold out, and whatnot. But to me, and again, this is just me looking at historical facts for South Carolina. Towns that are populated with heavy loan companies or heavy Dollar Generals and Family Dollars and Dollar Trees,
Mm-hmm.
they're great, but they bring about a certain level of poverty. And people have a certain mindset. Excuse me. Think of it like this. If Whitmire wants to grow and the people there want to do it, would they bring in a little Dollar General if they've already got one? Or would it be better to bring in a Bilo or a Winn-Dixie or
I'd love to see a Winn-Dixie or something like that.
go and I look, no shot at Food Line, but we got 2 Food Lines in Newberry County.
Yep.
If you want some Food Line, come to Newberry.
And they're both on the same highway.
Right. There's one's on the right side, one's on the left side.
Yeah.
One's 29127, one's 2910, and there's less than 6 miles in between them.
Yeah.
We do have the Walmart, which is alternative. But you go to towns like Chapin, you got
That's another little Columbia,
yeah.
just like
I mean,
Whitewood.
Well, they got there. They've got the Lowe's Food. They got Publix. I mean, within 2 blocks of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got other little small mom and pop businesses in there that are
Tons
flourishing.
of restaurants.
Tons. And I'm sitting here thinking that is just one little entity, and it's as booming as an entire county right down the road from it. That has Prosperity, Newberry, half of Whitmire, Silver Street.
Yeah.
And again, not taking a shot at our
And Silver
community.
Street's that big.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it might as well be as big as a silver dollar.
Yeah. It's nothing to it.
You have to zoom in 8 times to see it on the map. But I mean, and again, not taking a shot at Newberry County, because I love our county, I love our community,
I like
and
it.
I want to do it better. But it's just how can commerce be such a flourishing thing in such an area like Chapin that's limited to what 76, and then the interstate down the road about a little bit.
Yeah.
And look at the mess they made on the exit. I mean that is
That
malfunction.
exit's horrible.
I'd rather go to Harbison now than that road.
And that's saying something.
Yeah. So with that, I'm sitting thinking like, but business has continued to grow there.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was an investor, or if I was a big company or even medium-sized corporation, and was looking at a place that was inexpensive to go to, and I can incentivize good work ethic, Whitmire would be the perfect place to go.
Yeah.
Because they have the land, and just like Newberry's a great place for new business to come.
Yeah.
But there's a land issue and a demographic issue in Newberry in certain areas, depending on what kind of business you're trying to bring. But I think the doors are wide open. Now I wouldn't take a car dealership or a huge money item to Whitmire, because one, it needs to be incentivized.
Yeah.
There needs to be jobs there that are outward, as far as, and what I mean by that is like Sea-Pro. They sell boats, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't sell boats to the public, they sell to manufacturers, correct?
From my understanding.
So if that's correct, they have a workforce that has to meet a production quota. They get paid great wages, and they can make a living off those, and even possibly overtime wages. And they don't have to worry about like me and you, a customer walking in and saying, "Hey, I want to buy this Dodge Charger," or "Hey, I want to buy this." It's already a sold product because they're selling it like a manufacturer.
Yeah.
Like GM sells to the Chevy stores.
Mhm.
It's already paid for in between them, but it's up to the Chevy store to turn it for a profit to the public.
Yeah.
You know, but I think companies like that could go in and work with the politics or the political figures of Whitmire and make a great effort to bring business there that would energize the economy.
They used to have a Chevy dealership in Whitmire.
But if you
Young
could
Chevrolet, I think.
really,
If they could have something like that again, I think that would help. And the reason I say that is most places that, you know, from talking to other people and working in other places, you get like when I worked at the Chrysler store, I don't want to say his name or anything, but the owner, great guy, Jammer guy, gives back to the community. And so he's got a Chevrolet store down the road. Well, there was somebody from Chester that was going to buy that Chrysler store. And then when he found out about it, from my understanding, he said, "No, I'll serve this community." So he went and bought the Chrysler store and owns the 2 car lots in town. Just looking out for the town. He's all about the town.
that's good.
And he gives back all the time, helping out, you know,
And
donations.
And see, if a full service community car lot could go in Whitmire with a service center, a tire center, oil changes, stuff like that,
Yep.
and even offer detail. See, that's a service that goes beyond just buying the car.
Yep.
But they could grow their business model and say, "Hey, look, we're a community dealer. We're going to sell our cars at a very discounted price. We don't want you to feel like you have to come haggle on everything." And we'll even bring in special finance to help people with less the perfect situations.
Yeah.
You know, I know that's what we are as a hometown dealer in Newberry, but we're an independent, so all our cars are pre-owned. We don't have a big manufacturer backing us.
Yeah.
We are who we are as people, and that's the only thing we have backing
That's
us.
all you got.
And so, I think that would be great for Whitmire is if something like that could happen. And really, I believe it boils down to the people that want and desire things in Whitmire. They just have to put their nose to the grindstone and make it happen.
Whitmire's full of some really nice people.
Yeah. So
Well,
many
you-
people I met from
Obviously, you got that one crowd, you know.
right. Everybody.
You know, yeah. But Whitmire as a whole, it's great people. Everybody I've talked to there,
Mm-hmm.
utmost respect for, you know, just about anybody.
Yeah.
But I think some of what the problem is, you got a lot of empty houses, which just breed that crowd you don't want. They're going in there, hooking up drugs, stuff like that. And that brings the whole town down.
Does Whitmire have a police department?
Yes, they have, I can't remember how many officers they got now. I know for a fact there's 2 of them. The chief is, Chief Moss. Let's see.
But
Deputy Chief Will
they're severely understaffed, you'd say. As far as trying to
When I first moved here, there was 4 on a 12-hour shift,
Mhm.
and you know they so every day and night somebody was there.
Yeah.
I know of the 2 right now, and I know a couple of reserve officers they've got. But to my knowledge, that's all that's there. But I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
So 2 of them left and went to Newberry County, which Newberry County Sheriff's Office, they cover a lot up there too,
Right.
especially when
Yeah.
nobody's on duty.
Exactly. But and they cover a lot of area. Then I guess you got Union on the other side of the water. That covers that kind of area. Then you got Lawrence kind of hitting parts of that area too.
And the 3 counties have an agreement with each other, or this was true, I don't know if it is now. But let's just say Whitmire or Newberry County, whatever it is, in a chase. They go through, let's say they're running toward Clinton, going up 72. Newberry or Whitmire, whatever, can go 3 miles chasing them down, then they're still good. Beyond that 3 miles, from my understanding, they need to radio in, which they're going to do before they get there anyway. But they have to radio in, hey, we're coming in, and then Clinton or Lawrence will be coming the other way to meet them. They got a good little deal together between the three of them.
Well, that's good, and I think that's awesome that local law enforcement works so well together. And you know, if any of the other counties have a sheriff like us, Lee Foster, he's awesome, man. He's done a lot of things for the community. Been in the position for a long time, and has always had a good, honest reputation about himself, which is good because last thing a county needs is a stained reputation in the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
You know, it can run the county very, very quickly.
I haven't talked to Mr. Foster personally or seen him, but I've talked to him online. You know, he's always been respectful.
Yeah. Well, and you'll probably get a chance to meet him on June 14th.
Oh, yeah.
So, have you seen the flyer?
Yeah, I seen her sitting over here.
We have the People's Car Show on June the 14th. We're going to open the gates at 10:30. Actually, we'll be here at 9. You can come as early as you want to. But we'll open up at about 10:30, start registrations, and get everybody in. We're actually going to have 9 classes this year. We had 8
I
last
seen
year.
that on Facebook.
So we'll have 9 classes this year. Each class will have its independent Best of Class Award, trophy president, and we'll have Best Overall as well. It's free to enter. All you have to do is just show up and be here, be present, and win. You know, unfortunately, if you leave, you know, we're going to present the trophies at 2:45. If you leave at 2:44,
you ain't getting
you
trophy.
ain't getting the trophy.
Well,
But we're going to have a great time. We're going to have some great people out here. We're working on getting some barbecue trucks. We're going to get some hot dogs, some hamburgers. We're going to have a lot of things going on. And again, that's June 14th at 11 a.m. Again, we'll be here for early registration, so you can come as early as 9:30. Go ahead and get registered. Hey, I do early bird registration. You can even check us out on our website at www.affordablecarolina.com, or you can call myself, Brandon, or Chad at 803-276-5788. All you need to enter is the type of car, the year model of the car, your name, your phone number, and email. So those 5 things get you pre-registered. Again, there's no fees whatsoever. There's no gimmicks, no tricks. This is something that the owners, Ellen and Mitch, have wanted to do for years. And years ago, they've done car shows, and COVID kind of slowed that down. So this is our 2nd annual car show consecutively, and it's a great thing for the community. It's just a day of fun. They want to reward the community, have everybody come out, bring out the cars, because people seem to love cars, especially those old-timey vintage classic cars.
I can't wait to see that 26 come out.
Oh, man, 26. Hopefully it don't run out of gas this time. We'll fill it up.
We put some in it the other day.
I can't wait to see some rat rods. Rat rods, to me, are some fascinating cars.
Yeah, it takes a special person to appreciate it, and I'm that special person. I had a buddy in Union when I lived there. He had one. All the time I go over there and look at it. The number 1 car I'm ready to see is that orange Clemson Corvette right
Oh,
there.
my goodness. Not a
That's what
Clemson
I'm
Corvette.
talking about.
Well, look, I say we have a competition. So, Mitch has the Carolina Porsche.
Yeah.
Then he's got
With
the
Clemson balls on.
With Clemson balls on. Then he has a Clemson Corvette. So, I would like to challenge somebody out there that's viewing to bring their coolest Gamecock geared up vehicle. No matter what type of vehicle it is.
Now we gotta have the same thing for anybody else that's got a Clemson vehicle.
Yeah, but Mitch is probably going to win that one.
Well, he's probably got my vote. I love that car.
Now, I do know there is a Clemson Jeep running around Newberry.
I think it stays up the road.
Yeah, it's orange, and they've got some purple accents and some white accents. It looks really good.
It does.
So,
I would love to have that.
I think it's going to be great. I'll tell you what, we had a great turnout on motorcycles last year. I know you weren't with us, but we had a great time on motorcycles. Man, we had some of the coolest looking stuff. And there was this one guy, he come, he was actually in the golf cart, was totally tricked out. He won some custom awards. And, but I'll tell you what, shout out to Shane Stanford down at Audio Advantage. Him and his guys come out, they had about 6 or 7 cars with us last year. And man, when I tell you, those guys got some bass. But I used to love my speakers back in the day, especially back in the late 2000s when Kicker and Alpine, all those guys were the big boys. But man, I had to lay that stuff down because I was getting hard of hearing. But
well, I'm hoping my brother shows up because he asked if they were going to be here because he does that too. He's got a little team that, and I've seen his videos. The whole car doors and stuff just be flexing. I was like, what in the world?
oh man, it was awesome. I'm sure they'd get out there and play. And they do the things where the girls would get in there and they turn on the bass and the hair would stand up on it.
Yeah, he did that.
So now, let's tell you a little story. So when I first got into audio, I was doing it more for competition because I just loved the environment. And a buddy of mine helped me put in 6 12-inch subwoofers in the back of the S10. Quantum Audios. And we tuned them a little deep so they had a lot of punch, real strong bass. And I never really jammed out with them much because, I was trying to compete and, win a few trophies. And but for whatever reason that day, I jammed out pretty good. And I didn't know anybody was home at the time. So I'm pulling into the gate, getting ready to come around, and I'm boom.
Is this at your house? Or?
Yeah, this is at my fucking house. And again, I didn't know my mama was home. And all I know, she comes out, it's like the hair on her. You know how a dog looks when they get mad? Yeah. That hair stands up. Yeah. She comes out of the back porch, she said, "You turn that off right now. You were sloshing the water in my toilet bowl." Thank God. Now rest her soul. But praise the Lord, she wasn't on the potty when that happened, because if that would have sloshed her, I got hurt. She said
from the floor up.
She was going into the bathroom to grab some dirty laundry. We kept our laundry basket in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And she was going in the bathroom, and all of a sudden she heard something. She thought it was thunder. She said it was God-like thunder. And all of that thing she knew was the water was in a little toilet bowl. And then she realized it was me and my big old speakers. And after that day, I turned it down just a little bit more.
Yeah. So my brother, he did a video. I can't remember how long ago it was been. I think it was his daughter. She was just sitting there, just in her own world, waiting. And they hit the music, and her hair just went. And I was like, wow.
I love it. Matter of fact, we'll have to get some clips of that and put it in our next podcast and show people what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, craziest thing, Myrtle Beach. This is probably 2001 or 2. Old Steve Meade, one of the oldest. I'm not gonna say oldest guys, but he's probably one of the oldest running champions in the audio industry. I mean, he's just a pillar of the industry. He had these humongous 18-inch subwoofers in the back of his Cadillac. I'm talking about, man, things that would make your heart stop. Has this girl sitting in the front seat, and of course we're thinking the hair, right? No. She has a fake eye, and the bass is so out, her eye pops out her head, hits the dash, starts bouncing around the car, and all she's doing is searching for her glass eye or her eyeball that popped out, while her hair's going. and nobody realized in the moment what she was doing, but when we got back and watched the video, we were like, she lost her eyeball. And then we realized it was a fake eye.
Yeah,
which made us feel a whole lot better, but it's like, God, we blew
her eyeball out.
Yeah. Now, I made them shaking, but I mean, we blew her, well, Steve blew her eyeball out. But thank goodness she found it.
Well, you were talking about motorcycles. I reached out to a friend of mine. I can't think the name of the group or whatever right off the top of my head, but I told them to come out. They got a bunch of bikes and stuff come out, free entry, and try to leave with a trophy. So hopefully we'll have a whole shebang of them. I love motorcycles.
Now, are you more of a Harley man or a classic bike, or you like the sports bikes?
If I'm riding, I would prefer a Harley style, Honda Rebel, something like that.
Yeah.
If I'm watching racing, which I don't watch much of, but the sport bike, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Have you ridden a sport bike?
don't think so.
I tried to one
I mean,
time.
I've been on them, but I don't think I've actually. We didn't very well.
I tried to one time and I realized that it was not meant for me. So I retired from motorcycle scene early. But I still have an appreciation for them. I love them seeing them shined up and chromed up and just when they're canning out.
I want one. I had one. I sold it like a dummy. But I'm gonna get me one. But my wife says I'll fall off. She says I can't get one because I'll fall off.
Well, my wife told me that if I wanted to ride a motorcycle, I could try a moped. But I just needed the weight limit, so I just stole the cars.
And I wouldn't do it on a moped.
To those that ride mopeds, my hats are off to you. That's just, to me, that's just too dangerous.
Yeah.
So, now, Chad, I want to jump on one of my favorite topics. I know we talk a lot about the community, especially in Whitmire. But how do you feel about football in this area? How do you think high school football impacts the community with having Mid Carolina High, having Whitmire and Newberry? How do you think that flows throughout the county?
I really ain't in the football scene anymore, but I know like Whitmire and Mid Carolina, they usually have a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen Newberry play, but as far as other people supporting them, I mean it's about like Texas. The town shuts down.
Really?
Everybody goes to the games.
Now, out of the three schools, who's the big boy? Is it Newberry? Is Newberry the biggest school we've got?
It's gonna be them or Mid Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure which one's bigger.
I got you. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think Newberry's 3A, then Mid Carolina's more like a 2A, and Whitmire's 1A, of course. How have they been in the years you were following? How were they in sports overall? Were they a pretty good sports team?
Well, back when you talking about Whitmire?
Yeah,
Whitmire, so I always joke with one of my buddies. He's the assistant chief at the police department over there. He got beat by the deaf and blind. But on the other side of it, the deaf and blind are on the football. They mean. But where I'm from, Jonesville and Whitmire used to go at it like cats and dogs. So they always put on a good show between the two of them. So when I was in Jonesville, I'd go watch the games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it was interesting.
Now, did you ever play football yourself?
Just long enough to quit.
Yeah. Now, I had an extenuating career in high school. Never did in college. Like I said, I got into selling cars, and I found a way to make a living, and I didn't have to go get in debt with college. No disrespect to college people, just it didn't end up being my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I played for the legendary coach Jackie Hayes at Dillon. Fell short on some state championships, but it's like right after I graduated, they went on this historical run of 12. They played 17 championships.
So that was after Roscoe went on.
Way after Roscoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Roscoe was there, y'all wouldn't have went nowhere.
Well, if we had a rematch against that team, and the quarterback that played in that game for Dillon had a retake, I think we'd have won our first state that.
You think so?
Yeah. Too many. You've heard of saying team beating yourself.
Yeah.
You can have a juggernaut game. Both teams hit on all cylinders, and it comes down to who makes that mistake.
That's when the game is good.
Yeah. And I would say the Union versus Dillon state championship was probably one of the most spectacular games of ever in high school football. Now, there have been some great scoring games.
Yeah.
But it seemed,
play for play.
Play for play. Cause I remember that environment being so electric, just popping something on the helmet and saying, "Good job." It would jack you up so much. I mean, there was so much energy. I remember being in the fourth quarter, just trying to get those last offensive pushes, trying to get us first downs, trying to milk that clock. Everything had a shock value to it. I mean, it was just like there was an aura between those two teams, and it's like a game you just didn't want at the end. You wanted to go into unlimited overtime. Even as a player, we felt energized in the fourth quarter, where most teams were getting weaker or tiring down a little bit, and they're just hey, let's just finish the game, get over with. For us, it was. I mean, Union was the same way. And Roscoe was one of those running backs. He got stronger as the game went on, and he just he didn't have.
I got a machine.
Yeah. Now I would say this: he didn't have a career day on us, but buddy, when the defensive players that played against Roscoe, they look back and say, he hit us as hard as we hit him from a running back. But those were days where backs were strong and powerful, and they had to be. It wasn't about running a 4.2 140. It wasn't about being 5'8", 160 pounds. We had a running back my senior year, Charles Graves. He was 6'2", 225 and run a 4.5. Now that wasn't the fastest running back in the world.
That's a big one.
Guess what? He had over 2,200 yards rushing in 14 games.
Looking back, I wished I hadn't quit, but I don't think I made the wrong decision.
No.
I just feel like the reason I quit is, to me, it seemed like if you got money or come from money, you play.
Mm.
What I should have done was took that and hit everybody even harder where they had no choice but to say, hey, we got to play that boy. But I didn't. I mainly started playing because my granddaddy, Wicks, he wanted me to play. He always talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
My grandpa, Reed, now he played for Carolina.
Oh, wow. So there's some football history in the Wicks family then.
Yeah.
He was a good man going to Carolina, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
He was a great man going to Carolina.
Man, let me tell you, there used to be some almost brawls at the Clemson games at Papa's house.
Oh, I can imagine. That was some hot blood in days.
And then I grew up being a Clemson player. I mean, a Clemson fan. I'd always give him a hard time. But
So moving on from that, looking at some of the things, what do you think are some positive things that will come to Newberry in the near future? What are some things you think we can accomplish through our podcast and our outreach? And we're not putting a religious look on this, but anytime you lend a helping hand or you do something for the community or anything, it's almost like outreach or some type of ministry. But for me and you, just two good old country boys that, we didn't have perfect lives, but we ended up having good lives.
yeah.
But what do you think we'll be able to do to make our communities better?
I think, for an example, Miss Evelyn, when she comes on, hopefully, one, she's going to introduce us
Mm-hmm.
to new viewers, but people going to see her that don't know her maybe,
Okay.
and get to know what she does. Let's say, what was it? Real estate, taxes, bail bonding.
Yeah. She does boat rentals. She has Toro rentals. Also, I think she does some type of timeshare. She's got a lot of different things. Oh, and credit repair.
Credit repair. Yeah. So somebody watching us, and then seeing her, it's going to grow her, which in turn is going to hopefully grow us more, and things just keep going around that way.
That's great, man. We'll edit that one out, man. This is actually getting so good, man.
Then we took the day off.
Fort Carolina, how may I help you? Was it part of by the road or by the office?
In the front by the your black wall.
Let's see here. I got a couple of rooms. I'm trying to figure out which. Let's see. What was it? It's a little car. Oh, that's the Chevy Trax. That one's 18. That's a 21 model. Uh-huh. Yeah, we look at trade-ins, sure do. It's a 2021. Yes, ma'am. We have different finance sources we would go through, so it would depend on you trade in different things. It will be an expensive payment, but you know, it's hard to, with all the factors, it'd be hard to guess. But you, because you got your trade in, you have your monthly payment, terms, your interest and stuff like that. But on most of the time you can figure if you spend every $10,000 you spend, like about $120. So $250 to $300, depending on how your credit comes back. It is. Okay, thank you too. We're here 9 to 6, and my name's Chad.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. We'll edit this part out.
Yeah, for sure.
This is actually doing so good, we can actually use this one. I think so. All right, cut. Take 2.
Anyway,
That was a good phone call.
I don't even know where we were at.
That's awesome. Oh, talking about Evelyn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah.
how she's going to get back.
Yeah, like just an example of what we can do, I feel like. Once people see her, then they'll see the next person we have, the next person we have. That person's going to share us, hopefully. We're going to share that person, you know, on social media and everything. And hopefully that's going to get more money in the community in a way, you know, if somebody needs a service that they offer.
Right. Now, one person I'm super excited about, and I'm going to take this opportunity to throw his name around, and hopefully it'll get his attention. Because he liked one of your profile pictures, so there, I like one of your posts.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about.
I know you're talking about.
The man from Union County himself,
Yeah.
the living legend, Ginger Billy. I think
That'd be great to have him.
I think it'd be awesome for him to come down, take him out to dinner, feed him some steak and shrimp.
Oh, he's probably already signed up for us now. You talking about feeding him?
He looks like he pumps a lot of iron, so he probably has to keep some protein in the belly.
He is one of the most down-home people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it comes from his comedy too. And you know, he has such a wide variety. Like, I don't know how he makes those vehicles, but he makes the car show and want to buy one of his vehicles.
I don't know if it's still for sale, but I know his monster truck was for sale and still running. He cranked it up the other day.
Well, if it's still for sale and it's not been bought yet, if it's got a clean title, he can bring it to Newberry and we'll sell it for him.
That would be nice.
And we'll get a picture of him, have him sign it, and whoever buys it gets the autograph photo of Ginger Billy when they buy Ginger Billy's monster truck.
Dude, that truck's big. It's a Honda Ridgeline.
It is?
Yeah. It's called the Maxi Pad.
Probably the largest max pad in the human history.
Oh, it's a big one. But I seen a video the other day, crunk it up. And I guess somebody might have said something to him about it not running or something. He said, it's still running.
He's got so many. I like the one where he's cutting the grass with his little John Deere truck. When he talks about the air conditioner and all that, while he's riding around cutting the grass.
Have you seen the little mini excavator he?
Oh yeah, that's the newest one I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little mini. He had little tracks on there and everything. Like, who makes this stuff for him if he doesn't himself?
So I don't know for sure, but I think him and his buddy make it down behind his house.
Now that's even more epic.
Yeah.
Now, you know who I feel sorry for?
His wife?
His wife. Because I've seen some of the videos he's put her in, and the look on her face is just like. So shout out to Ginger Billy's wife too.
Yeah. So there's the All My Trucks video. Conveniently, I'm cut out the whole thing, but my wife in it, and my buddy, he came up there from when I worked at the sheriff's office. He come up there and his wife's in the video. Didn't even see Leah, Ginger's wife.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Hey, we ought
That
to.
was a shindig, I'm telling you.
That's back when you bought that first truck from me. When you bought the big Ram, because that Ram was supposed to be in the video.
It's so at the very end of it. Well, not at the very end, but toward the end, when all of them just take off and there's like a drone footage of it, you can see my truck.
Now, I think Ginger Billy's awesome. Like I said, it even comes through in his comedy, the hometown vibes and
Oh,
just you can tell he's a humble guy.
Very.
But I just wonder, does he own a T-shirt?
No.
Won't you?
Why would he need a T-shirt?
He's always walking around in his tore up breeches.
You're not tall.
He cut them up.
They made just right. They don't need no shirts.
Well, Ginger Billy, you can come shirtless or with a shirt on when you do the interview with us. But we'd love to have you at Dual Drive, man. I think you're an awesome guy. I've been a fan since day one, since the first time I seen your TikTok and your little giblet jacuzzi.
Oh, was that the first time you seen it?
That was, no, that was probably one of the first videos I remember, like, live rent free in my head. But I remember him, doing his little, I think the first one was like him and his little trucks and just different things, and him just having like a little commentary, just making little jokes or whatever.
So he done a few before the one I'm about to speak of, but I think one of the ones that really got him out there, especially on YouTube and stuff. And the reason I say that is because I found this YouTube channel through News Channel 7 because they were showing one of his videos. I can't remember what you called that little thing he was wearing, but it had all kind of pockets in it. And you could put your backer in this pocket and put your gun stuff in this pocket, and it's like a Swiss Army knife of whatever that thing was. I can't remember what it was called.
You know what would be awesome? If Ginger Billy would come see us at our car show.
That'd be great.
I mean, could you imagine doing a meet and greet, buying them lunch, having a car show with Ginger Billy, the legend, and just getting to have a cool day with him? That'd be awesome. I mean, it's not often you have a local hero or a local comedian or anybody. But I've heard that he's real big in the community. He's done a lot of giving
He
back.
even coaches kids ball.
Really?
Yeah.
Basketball, football?
Football.
Something.
I know football.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it might have been soccer too, but I know it's football.
He looks like he might have played football back in the day. He didn't play for Union, did he?
I actually don't know.
I hope he did.
That just never came up.
Maybe
If they did, they beat y'all.
No, we don't. You beat Dylan one time that I know of, and I witnessed that one. But the time, but see, we played y'all before, and it was just a game.
Yeah.
It wasn't for state.
Yeah.
So, and Roscoe was only there, what, 3 years?
I don't know if he did a.
I don't know if he was a starter his freshman year, but
I don't know.
but the
It's
year,
been so long
now the year
since.
he won state, he was a senior, right? I believe he.
I think he won state 2 or 3 times,
You ain't got that many state championships?
if I'm not mistaken.
I thought Union was one and done.
I got a buddy. I ain't seen him since probably 20 years now. A guy named Ricky. He got a big one on too. I don't know what year, but if I'm not mistaken, he played with Roscoe.
Okay. Well, that was probably the 99-2000 championship.
Somewhere around there. Whichever one beat you.
Well, that was the 99-2000 team. Well,
I don't know who they played.
I don't
Really.
know why I said that. It's 2000.
I was so young back then. My mom would take us like 3-4 years in a row. We were in it. I don't know how many of them we won, but I do remember that one where Roscoe really showed out in a good way.
Roscoe showed out. I heard some more stories about him.
So another thing, my dad, I think, used to tell me. You remember Stephen Davis played for the Panthers?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Apparently he got either. Now I don't know this to be true, and I don't know if it was my daddy that told me. I feel like it was, but Union broke his arm or leg or something playing Gaffney.
Really?
Union and Gaffney's like big rivals.
See, I guess growing up on closer to the coast, I didn't get a lot of the rivalries that were up here. Which I didn't realize it was, growing up, we thought the western part of the state was the Wild Wild West. We thought there was just a bunch of hillbillies up here with no common sense.
Well, you just got to go a few more miles up.
Towards Clemson?
Up above it.
Up above it. Pretty much go to North Carolina.
Well, there too. Now you're getting in the mountains.
No, there's less people up there for sure. But I think it'd be great to see him. I would love to hear back from him. Maybe we can hear him on social media and get him down here.
I've seen him a couple messages, but it's so busy.
Yeah, well, does Roscoe, does he still live around here?
That I'm not sure.
Well, we'll Roscoe up and have a Dillon Union reunion.
Reunion? Last I heard, he was working at Clemson, but I don't know where he's.
Yeah.
If he's even up there, that's just something I heard.
Well, I definitely think we ought to go ahead and plan and get Miss Evelyn on because I know she's just bursting at the seams.
Oh yeah.
She's going to be very, very influential. She does a lot of speaking engagements too about teaching people how to attain housing, how to build a credit. Because a lot of people, they haven't missed anything, never haven't done anything, but they need that little bit of push. Especially younger people that don't have the family support that it was more common in our day and time. She can be that influential voice.
I'm glad she's looking forward to it.
Yeah, she was very excited. It was a surprise to her because I texted her. I said, "Hey, Evelyn, would you do this for us?" She said, "Absolutely. Let me know when." And within 5 minutes, I had a Facebook post up. I think it surprised her how excited I was to have her. And I've been on Evelyn.
I know you had texted me, and I was like, "Well, who is it?"
Yeah.
And then you said, "Look on Facebook." I'd already looked on Facebook at that point. Not being from around here, I didn't know who she was. And that's what I'm saying. People watching it get to know more of.
Right. And you know everybody. A lot of people know you, and you're out and about in the community. So I was actually surprised when you didn't know Evelyn. And I'm like, she's right down the road from Little. We could throw rocks and hit her rooftop.
I'm just one of them. I like to stay at my house, come to work, and go home.
Me too. Facebook's for the gathering, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to a show tonight in Union.
What show y'all going
Got a
to?
wrestling show to go to.
A local wrestling group coming in? Who's
It's dang it, American Wrestling League.
okay.
God, I feel bad. I forgot. I think it's American Wrestling League. I know it's AWL. It's a guy actually invited me last month, gave me tickets to go there because I was kind of low on money, and he gave me and my whole family tickets to get in.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was kind of we're gonna go get.
Well, take us some pictures and videos on Facebook and something like that. Let us know how you enjoyed it. I'm wrestling tonight. I had my youth group last night, and we played basketball. We were supposed to be there at 8:30. I think we got done at like 10:30. So we were still eating pizza and playing basketball. And I will tell you.
I was at home playing my new wrestling game.
Oh, how is the new WWE game? 2025, right, or 2026?
It's 25. I like it so far.
Who's your favorite wrestler on there?
So, growing up, my favorite wrestler was Stone Cold.
I mean,
Couldn't be nobody else, right?
who else?
As I got older and he stepped away, I got real heavy behind The Undertaker. Now, when I was little, it scared me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch it. I'd close my eyes. It was just creepy. But as I got older and Austin kind of started going away, I got behind The Undertaker. But I look at wrestling with a whole different view now.
Mm-hmm.
Just when I was little, the bad guys were the bad guys, the good guys were the good guys. And it was a good show. But now I know so much about the behind workings of it. I enjoy it just as much, if not more. But I understand more of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
About what they're doing in that corner, why they taking that long.
Mm-hmm.
Why they got, some of them have long hair because they like to have long hair. Some of them have long hair to help keep some stuff hidden.
Mm.
So it's just knowing a little bit more than
It's
your
like
average
appreciating
fan.
the game inside the game.
Yeah,
As Triple H would say,
the game.
the game. Now, going back to football, that's how I am. A lot of people watch a football game and they just watch the totality of the player movement and who gets the yardage and the touchdown.
Yeah.
My thing is, I love to see the quarterback. Growing up, I want to be a quarterback, but I just didn't have the footwork.
Well, didn't everybody want to be a quarterback?
I think so. Some kids want to be the receiver, the running back. So, but with me, I wanted to be the quarterback because I felt like I had the vision and the quality and the strong will set and the mind power to be a quarterback, but I just didn't have good footwork. And then I realized how much bigger I was than some of the other kids. And we're talking about, rec and middle school this time. And I was like 6'2" by the time I was 13 years old. So my first position was tight end. And I eventually transitioned into offensive guard and tackle a little bit in middle school, being by high school. I got my speed up, and I actually played nose guard, middle linebacker, and so I played a little bit of everything. But going back to the appreciation of it, I love to see the quarterback take control of the game with their mind.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning in his latter years, he didn't have the footwork he did when he was 21, 22.
But he was just as good.
But it was just as good.
Because
And look how long it took to win the first championship. Now, not everybody's going to win a championship like Tom Brady. But if you look at Tom Brady and the body of work he had, he was a mastermind. And I appreciate the game inside the game. I love to watch the tackles and the defensive ends battle it out.
But my favorite quarterback has always been Brett Favre.
He was my first favorite quarterback. He's actually the first person I ever saw throw football.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm, I don't know, 3.5, 4. I don't sit and watch football games,
Mm-hmm.
And I was in my room. I think the TV might have been sitting on the floor at the time. I think we just moved in where we were. Hadn't got all the stuff unpacked yet. I was flipping through and I seen snow. I said, "Go watch this. This seems pretty cool." And I watched. It was the end of the game. It was probably last 3-4 minutes, but it was in snow, and I was hooked. And it was a Green Bay Packer game. I can't remember who. I think that's playing the Steelers, but that got me hooked right there.
Yeah.
As far as watching football.
I was probably 6 or 7 the first time I actually paid attention to the ball. My dad and everybody talked about it. And at that point in time, I loved basketball. It still has.
I never got into basketball.
Still have a love for it on the just the level of getting out and playing the sport. I don't watch the pros.
I mean, I go out and play horse, but
So
that's about it. And I ain't good at that.
But really, I turned on Brett Favre was a young player back then. And I remember them calling him a gunslinger in that game. And it stuck. I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't know what a quarterback was. I just know he's throwing a ball. Like, these guys are, like, really hitting each other. Like, it's very aggressive. And it intrigued me. And so, as my dad's like, "Dad, can I watch this football stuff?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, go for it. So that's the stuff we want you to play at rec anyhow. We want you to get out baseball and play that." And he just grew into it. And
I should have stuck with baseball.
and I want to say I was more like 9 years old possibly, because this was in 1997 when they won their first Super Bowl with Brett Favre. And him and Antonio Freeman beat the New England Patriots. And I remember watching that game. And that's the year I started watching. So I was 8 or 9 actually.
So I became not only a Tom Brady, not fan, it's the opposite. Like, I couldn't stand him. But I couldn't stand New England either, because they beat my Panthers in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, now that was a squad. Now, I tell you what, Jake Delhomme played his butt off in that game. That game
I got his jersey hanging in my closet right now.
Now, I'll tell you what I've always said. If you took that team in their prime, all those players that played in that Super Bowl, and you put Cam Newton in his prime, now, I don't take nothing from Jake Delhomme, but Cam would have been a different animal in that time period. They would won some Super Bowls.
Cam showed out. Him and he played for Washington. RG3.
Yeah,
When both of them started their first 2-3 years,
they were awesome.
they were
But Cam
unbelievable.
had 9 good seasons with Carolina.
Well, I'm just saying in the first couple
Oh,
of years,
yeah,
they were
outstanding.
breaking record after record.
Oh,
After
yeah.
record.
And
Both of them were.
And you know, I never thought anybody would break Vic's records with all the crazy records he had in Atlanta. But Cam was just boom, boom, boom. But you know what amazed me about football at that time of frame? Jake Delhomme was a mediocre quarterback as far as talent goes, as far as being on paper. I think he was an awesome leader. He was a cool Cajun dude, and he had leadership qualities. To me, he was a little Peyton Manning. He could make you better. But they surrounded him by good players. They had two good running backs, Deshaun Foster, Stephen Davis. You had
Steve Smith.
Mushing Muhammad.
Oh, yeah.
The big receiver.
Yep.
The offensive line. So they surrounded him.
Wasn't Peppers on them then too?
Julius Peppers, yeah. And so they had a good defense and they had a phenomenal offense. They had the pieces and they surrounded them. I think what happened in that Super Bowl, one, that bad kick put New England in a position to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But the moment was a little bit bigger than they were. They had never been there.
It was their first time.
I think that was either the second or third Super Bowl for New England. And it was just, they had the experience, and that team has still been together. That's before Ted Bruschi and all them broke up and all the players kind of, that first dynasty started.
How do you feel about the Tom Brady cheating thing?
You
You believe it?
I can't say I believe it or I don't believe it. Because to me, there's so much made up media. Now, they had that roast of Tom, and I didn't watch it with all the filth they had on there, but supposedly some people made comments about it, and he didn't deny it either. But I do remember the game they beat the Detroit Lions 48-7. They had 4 rushing touchdowns. So here's my thought process in that particular game. If Tom Brady didn't throw one pass, they still won the game. Because there was enough rushing attempts and there was enough yards, and touchdowns that Detroit didn't have enough for him. The defense shut down Detroit so bad they didn't have an answer for the running game. So the other 3 touchdowns that Brady had really weren't needed.
Who's like this last season? I ain't watched NFL in years at this point. Who would you say was probably one of the worst teams of this past season?
There was a lot of inconsistencies in a lot of the league this past season. I didn't watch as much football, just didn't have time with family and everything going on.
I mean, your Sundays is pretty much taken.
Right, yeah. But I would have to say that one of the most disappointing teams was our Carolina Panthers.
So they would be one of them.
They had inconsistency at quarterback. The starter got benched. Bencher didn't do good. Started coming back in and played lights out the last few games of the season. But it wasn't enough to make the season meaningful, other than they kind of finished on a high note. Then you had teams like the Oakland Raiders. They were in a similar situation. Bad management, and of course this is stuff stated by ESPN, but this is not me being factual in any kind of way, because a lot of this is subjective anyhow. But I think they won 4 or 5 games out of 17. And so you got an aging defense, you got great talent on that team, but you can't keep contracts together, you can't manage. It slows. Now,
They got a new owner now, though.
Tom Brady is actually part owner now. Of the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, I'm talking about the Panthers. Did somebody buy them within the last 2 years?
2 or 3 years ago, there was some ownership change. Jerry Richardson no longer majority owner.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you guys' name. If you walk in the door, I won't know it's him.
I've seen it. I can't place it.
But I think Carolina has a large upside, and they drafted well this year. So with the right coaching and the right ownership, they'll get back where they need to be. Some of these other teams are just they're not putting pieces of a puzzle together. They're picking up shattered glass.
Yeah.
That's just how bad things are. And look, whether you win 0 games or 4 games, or if you even win 6, maybe 7 games, when you are a professional football player and your livelihood is to win, everybody from top to bottom feels that pressure.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like it's just it's all the players. No, when it is harder to me, and again, because as competitors, as players, there's a certain level of pride that we have, and of course, when I played football for high school, it was about being the best who I was, and also trying to get that championship. So you have a natural emphasis to push. And good coaching will make you smarter, but also draw that potential out of you too. So when people, and I don't want to put it this way, but I'll just say, when teams suck, it ain't just bad players. It ain't just bad coaches. It's a combination of everybody.
Yeah.
From top to bottom. And I will give a big shout out to the Washington Redskins. They completely turned their organization around.
Are they the Redskins again there?
You know what? They're the Washington Commanders. I stand corrected. They are not the Washington Redskins.
I heard they were going back, but
Well, I don't know how that legally will play out or whatever. I hope they do, because
they are always the Redskins.
I don't have any Indian heritage, but I understand that
I got a little bit.
there was some thought behind the name. But if the Indian community can support it and stand behind them, and they don't have a problem with it, I said let them go back to it. You know, because to me, if I'm an Indian man, if I'm one of those people, and I have a team named after me that kind of keeps my legacy going, I would want that. You know, and again, that's just me saying how I think, and that doesn't say that they're wrong for thinking that if they have a problem with it. But again, I'm not a Native American.
So my grandpa that was with Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
it was a big Redskins fan.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, and while I was growing up, were big Cowboys fans.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it was college or NFL, it was like just two button heads.
Mm-hmm.
And when you jump to Major League Baseball, me and my dad liked the Yankees. He liked the Boston Red Sox. So, again.
There was never any camaraderie.
No. We had to talk about something else. Talk about sports.
So, Chad, after going through our first episode today, what is your desire to do the next one? How long do you think it'll be before we get our next one done?
I'm looking forward to doing it, but
I'm thinking in the next few days we'll have this one done.
I'm just
I'm excited to see that one. And
how long it's going to take to do the next one depends on our availability.
Right. Because we do work some hours here. We put in some time.
I think it stayed the other day like 2.5 hours after we closed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's you sold 3 cars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome job, Ollie. We're doing this from the love of our hearts. We want to bring a good content, good material to people. We do want to bring value to our content and to our watchers, viewers, whatever's the appropriate term there. You know, we're a bunch of country boys, so we say stuff that's kind of don't sound right or kind of country. Don't get mad with us. Just help it. Just put it in the comments. Say this next time. Help us out a little bit. You know, don't beat us up. Just make us better. And I think we'll be doing great things in the near future. Look, we want to reach out to the local schools. We want to talk to the coaches of different sports. We're going to have segments, not necessarily a segment. We'll have a time where we want to sit down with some of the coaches for the softball teams, baseball teams, volleyball.
Whitmire softball is amazing.
Really? They've got a big softball program.
And so I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head
Who's
who coach is right now or whatever, but that's definitely somebody we should talk to. Whitmire's got a lot of potential as far as the school goes. Yeah, I can see him doing a lot.
Maybe one day we'll get big enough where we can have some outdoor material, and maybe you can go cover some Whitmire football games and softball games.
Mike,
Maybe interview some of the players and let
it'd be hard while I'm at work.
But we'll let y'all know early for that.
There you go.
So, but yeah, we definitely want to reach out to community figures. We want local business people to be involved. We want everybody to talk about school leaders, church leaders. So we want to do everything we can to better the podcast, but also better our community. That's the ultimate goal, is to better everybody that is in our sphere of influence as well. And we just thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been great, man. It's been an awesome first session. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah.
So,
I think so.
uh,
Besides the phone ringing.
we'll definitely get that edited out.
Yeah.
So when you guys see this part of it, and you're like, well, we didn't hear the phone ringing, listen very close. I'll leave just a nanosecond of a ring.
Well, you'll hear it a little bit because I was still talking about Miss Evelyn and where we were going. So I think it rings 2 or 3 times before we connect.
Before I got to it. So, well, guys,
Hopefully it wasn't too loud.
I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, we're going to be on YouTube, Facebook. We're working on TikTok, maybe Twitch and some other streaming stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll put it out there for you guys so you can check in with us. Help us grow, help us get our views up, and we'll be looking at maybe doing some sponsorship and advertising for the future for our local businesses. But again, I'm Brandon. This is my buddy,
Chad.
and we're dual driving. Again, thank you for tuning in to our podcast. Have a great day.
Don't forget, I can't remember it all. It's like, subscribe, thumbs up,
And shares.
hit the bell, share, comment,
Everything.
do it all.
Go it all.
Help us out.
And we'll put a little link up at the bottom to show you where to go.
All right.